Okay, so I still don't have an intro, but whatever. It's not like I said this last time I talked, but it's not like I'm ever gonna talk again. I bet I'm gonna talk again. So for this video, you probably already know what this video is about because you probably read the title. If you didn't, why did you click on this video without reading the title? This could be the worst video of your life. But this video is about what I think should be changed with this man, the Centurion. What I mean by change is possible buffs or just balance changes in the future that could possibly happen to his character. Because his character, in my opinion, is on B tier, maybe, in some cases A tier. So first is I think he needs more health, because currently he has the health of an assassin. Why? I don't know what's the developer's reasoning on giving the Centurion the health of an assassin. Because look at him. Does he look like an assassin? He's a man, and he's a man fully covered in armor, except on his thighs, on his neck, and on his biceps. So what's the reasoning? What's the reasoning behind him having the health of an assassin if he has much more protection than an assassin? In my opinion, I think he should have the health of a vanguard, maybe like the warden, which I think the warden has 5 or 6 bars, something like that. Don't quote me on that. So I think he should have the health of a vanguard rather than what he currently has, which is the health of an assassin. Next, I think his unblockable should be able to be feinted. The reason why is because in order to do his unblockable attack, you have to hold down heavy, like whenever there's a chain that ends with a heavy attack, you have to hold down the heavy button, depending on what platform you're on. And if you hold down that heavy button, you do an unblockable attack, which is called, I don't remember what it's called. I haven't looked at this character's moveset in a very long time, because I haven't needed to. So, if the base of that attack is R2 for me, which is a heavy attack, you're able to feint. What I'm trying to say is, you're able to feint heavy attacks in this game. If not all attacks that have R2 as at the base of them are able to be feinted. So what's the developer's reasoning on not letting the Centurion be able to feint his unblockable attack? See what I'm trying to say here? Like, you can feint the Highlanders, you can feint the Kenseis, you can feint the Raider. Well, the Raider's base isn't R2, but you can still feint his. And there's many more characters. Next, I think his kicks should maybe stagger. What I mean by that is, if your opponent's back is to a wall and you do a kick, like a Legion kick, they should get staggered on the wall to where like you can get a free heavy maybe. The reason why I say maybe is because this might not be balanced. I'm not sure, since the kick is 600 milliseconds, I think. So yeah, and his heavies are 600 milliseconds. Well, the first one is 600 milliseconds. The second one is 500 milliseconds. And the other reason why I say maybe is because in the past he had an ability to where if you jabbed an opponent into the wall, like a non-charge jab, it would stagger the opponent on the wall to where you could get a free heavy. And this was kind of unbalanced because if you got your opponent into a corner and you did a jab, there was absolutely nothing they could do about it. Like, they could dodge, but them dodging wouldn't do anything because they're in a corner, so it doesn't register as a dodge because you're still in the way of his fist about to collide with your face. Next, for the Centurion, I think he should have I think his zone should be feintable after the first strike. And the reason why I say this is pretty obvious. It's because look at the Highlander zone, for example. His zone is 3 attacks. You can feint it after the first hit. So why can't you feint the Centurions after the first hit? Exactly. And there's not really much else that needs to be said. So yeah. And the last point is, I think his heavy should be able to be feinted like everyone else's heavies. As in, currently with the Centurion, if you try to feint a heavy, it doesn't let you. The heavy just goes through. You can only feint charged heavies. You can't feint a heavy like if you just press the heavy button and that's it. So I think if you feint those heavy, like I think what should happen to him is if you don't, even if you don't charge the heavy, and you just let it go like non-charged, you should still be able to feint it. But in order to balance that whole thing, his heavy should be slightly slower. Like currently his first heavy is 600 milliseconds, so it should maybe be 700. I'm not sure. 700. It should be 700 or 800, so people can actually react to the feint. That's like what they did with the Kensei's top heavy. That's about it. I don't know what else to say. That was my last point.